You ever bounce a check, Lowell? You ever look at another woman's tits? You ever cheat a little on your taxes? Whose life, if you look at it under a microscope, doesn't have any flaws?
Well, that's the whole point, Jeffrey. That's the whole point. Anyone's, everyone's. They are gonna look under every rock, dig up every flaw, every mistake you've ever made. They are going to distort and exaggerate everything you've ever done, man. Don't you understand?
What does this have to do with my testimony?
That's not
What
the
does it
point.
have to do with my testimony? I told the truth.
It's not about telling
true and prove
That's not the fucking point, whether you told the truth or not. Hello?
I told the truth. I told the truth. I gotta teach class. I gotta go. I gotta teach class.
And I gotta refute every fucking accusation made in this report before the Wall Street Journal runs. I am trying to protect you, man.
Well, I hope you improve your batting average.
Hello everyone, this is Pico Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you and continuing the movie review series of unrated and underappreciated films, and in this edition we will focus on The Insider. Released on November the 5th, 1999, it stars Al Pacino, Russel Crowe, Christopher Plummer, Gina Gershon, and it was directed by Michael Mann. Now, The Insider is a retelling of the true love story involving Jeffrey Wigand, who was a biochemist working for the huge tobacco company Brown Williamson. After discovering that the company has been manipulating and spiking the nicotine within the tobacco to increase sales, Wigand is shortly fired. After this experience, he shortly decides to blow the whistle by going to journalist Lowell Bergman at CBS News to report his findings. However, Wigand's life begins to come apart shortly after his discovery, as Brown Williamson goes to great lengths to destroy his credibility with a smear campaign involving disclosing details about his private life. This puts increasing emotional pressure on Wigand and his family as they feel their lives are under threat. Wigand must decide whether it's still important enough to go through with his testimony and tell the truth. Now, I've always liked The Insider as a thought-provoking, intelligent and very composed movie. Despite the fact that a tobacco whistleblower may not be the most enticing of scripts, director Michael Mann still manages to make it very watchable and compelling. The film itself has many themes, the main one being the concept of wanting to tell the truth, whether it will actually make a difference, and the lengths that entities will go to distort, exaggerate and create lies to stop the truth coming out. It overall really is a film of two halves. The first half primarily focuses on Wigand, the emotional stresses and trauma that he goes through, the constant soul searching that he has, the struggles to find another job, questioning on how he will look after his family, and all of this is done with some emotional weight and really gets you to fully sympathise with Wigand's position. The second half of the movie focuses on Lowell Bergman's crusade to keep Wigand's statement and testimony from being closed down by CBS corporate, who themselves are scared of being sued and potentially taken over by Brown Williamson. This is where we concentrate far more on media manipulation and perception, how much journalistic news and integrity is comprised for financial gain or reputation. Should the truth be told regardless of the damage? Is it better to have less of a truth since it does less damage? And the movie really invests you to ask these questions and doesn't provide any simple answers or resolutions. Now, The Insider is directed with some assurance and composure from Michael Mann, who was cementing himself as a reputation as one of the industry's finest filmmakers, coming off The Last of the Mohicans in 1991, and also the revered crime epic action drama in Heat in 1995, starring Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. And he shows the same credibilities and sensibilities here in crafting another epic, lengthy narrative and story. There's a great poise and sophistication shown throughout this film, along with a great musical soundtrack, and all of this is culminated in, for me, what is perhaps the best scene of the movie, and that is the interview scene itself with Wigand, given his overall composition and retelling of certain events. And I just love the way that this scene is put together, along with the various cuts and the music. Now, the film itself is carried by its two main lead performances, and in the lead role as Wigand, Russel Crowe puts in such an impressive performance, creating Wigand as very much at times bullish, stubborn and fiery, but also very much physically frail and still likeable enough, and infuses very much of that everyday vulnerability that he puts in throughout all of his performances. And I think Russel Crowe really impresses or really immerses the character into somebody who you truly believe in and can truly empathise with. He's well supported by Al Pacino as Bergman, yet another fine performance. I've stated in so many previous movie reviews that Al Pacino is the greatest living leading actor of all time. Very much renowned for his vivid, intense performances from the likes of Scarface, Dog Day Afternoon and Serpico, but in this role, this is where we see the other side of Al Pacino's acting. He's far more of a restrained, far more of a relaxed character, showing that Pacino can play multiple characters with different personalities. Yes, we do get the still imposing, shouty persona of Al Pacino that we recognise through much in some great scenes with Bergman as he's battling against CBS who are trying to close down Wigand's interview. There's also a great dynamic between Bergman and Wigand as we see various heated arguments as Wigand questions Bergman's integrity, and these scenes really help add a certain pace and momentum to the story, with both Russell Crowe and Al Pacino doing very well to complement each other in their dynamic performances. I also liked Christopher Plummer as Mike Wallace, the long-standing reporter frontman for CBS 60 Minutes. He too has some great scenes with Pacino, as Mike Wallace too has to decide whether Wigand's testimony is important to risk his own reputation as well as that of 60 Minutes. Now, for all of its merits, there are some flaws within The Insider. I'd say that the 2-hour 30-minute runtime is a bit excessive for the story that's being told. Many people watching this film for the first time may feel that it's a bit of a slow burn, certainly for the first opening 30 to 40 minutes, and whilst there are no bad scenes, this film definitely could have done with some trimming, and to be honest, it really shouldn't be no more than 2 hours long. I'd also criticise the film's conclusions and ending, which really felt a little bit flat, almost perhaps doing a disservice to Wigand as a character as we focus far more on Bergman in the closing scenes. There's no real lasting statement on whether Wigand's experience and journey actually made any difference. There's no real reflection on his life post the events. He's almost forgotten about in many ways in terms of the overall story. Did everything that he went through actually mean anything? So I really felt that the end needed to say more about Wigand and his overall position. Was it all worth going through in the end? It's an important question that the film really needed to answer more substantially, and I don't think it did overall. So if I had to give an overall score for The Insider, I would give it a 7.9 out of 10. So when we go on to the overall release of The Insider, and unfortunately it was very much of a box office flop in many ways, managing to gross only 60.3 million worldwide on a 90 million budget. Now I think the main reason was because of the subject matter, primarily being of a whistleblower from a tobacco company that wasn't really the most exciting or enticing subject for many mainstream audiences. There was very little in terms of the hyperbole and sensationalism in terms of the movie's marketing, and much more of a somber, realistic take on events. So I think there was less to appeal certainly younger audiences to this overall film. I think certain audiences may have felt that this project was a bit of a letdown from Michael Mann and Pacino, given their previous collaboration of Heat, which is one of the most celebrated movies of the 1990s. Now The Insider did garner a lot more critical acclaim, gaining 7 Academy Award nominations, but sadly it didn't win any awards. But despite all of this, The Insider doesn't really get mentioned a lot post its release, which I think is a shame, as The Insider itself is a very fine, sophisticated movie with much depth and also having a strong message of the importance of telling the truth and rising up against those who try to conceal it, and any film that has that type of message should always get a special mention for that. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings and review of The Insider. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've already seen the film, how do you think it measured overall, and why do you think it didn't garner any real reception or buzz or hype both during and post its release? If you like films of this type and you'd like to see me review more films like it, then let me know in the comments, and if I've seen a film then I'll provide a review and breakdown also. Please also hit and like those subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay in safe distances, and I will see you very soon.